Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel All About BI. In this session, we are going to see something about looping through the records of a SQL table and writing a particular column value to a file in data lake storage. Okay, so I have a SQL table which contains ID in one of the columns, which is a numeric column, and XML data in one another column. So the requirement is this: if you have 10 rows with similar data, right, you have to create 10 files out of the column 3. Okay, so in the sense, read each record, write column 3 as a separate file in data lake storage, and that file has to be placed inside a folder whose name is similar to the id column. Okay, so pick up id column from column 2 and create a folder, and pick up the data from column 3, write it as a file. This is the requirement. Okay, to make it clear, I have data like this. So after I run my pipeline, what I'm expecting is under folder 111, which is the ID, I need to have two files. Okay, because there are two records that are having the same ID value, right? So whichever rows have same ID value, those records have to be moved to the same folder. Okay, if you have two records matching with same number, there will be two files inside that folder. So like that, under 111 you will see two files, under 112 you will see one file. This is the requirement. I'll quickly show you the design part of it. So the first lookup activity is to get the data from the SQL table. Okay, so post this discussion, I'll tell you some things to keep in mind. For now, this lookup activity is looping through my table. I mean, it's getting the data from my SQL table in such a way that I get the columns that I want. Okay, in my table I just have two columns. One is unique ID and data. If you have multiple columns and you need to use this so in case you have multiple columns and you want to pull the corresponding or selective columns, right, you need to write a query here in such a way that select column 1, column 2, whatever columns you want from table name. Okay, that is how it should go. So in my case, since I just have two columns for demo purpose, I am just pulling the whole table. So this way my lookup will be giving me all the records that are present in my table in this format. Okay, all the records are given as JSON object. Okay, and the property, if you see, right, this is nothing but the column name that I have in my table. Unique ID brings the unique ID value and data brings my XML value, and this has to be returned to the file. Okay, so just keep in mind that we have to use unique ID and data in order to access the corresponding information from the table. Alright, this for each loop, this has to loop through the records that are given by my lookup. Okay, so for that, what I'm doing in the settings, I'm just pointing to lookup output, and then I say under the value array I have all my records stored as JSON objects, right? So I'm bringing all the records under this value array, and I'm making the for each loop to loop through that. Okay, and copy data activity, it's quite simple. My source, so in this case my source will be nothing but the item dot data and item dot unique ID. Okay, in my lookup activity I'm sorry, I'm getting data like this. So every time my for each loop goes through these records, right, it will have the data under two attributes. One is unique ID and one is data column. So if I want to access this 1000, I have to use item dot unique ID. If I want to access this XML data, I have to use item dot data. Okay, just keep that in mind. Going to the copy data, as I told you, source comes from my item object. Okay, so which is nothing but the data being looped by the for each loop activity. So what I'm pointing here, this is a dummy file. We cannot directly access the object that is brought by for each loop. We need a dummy data set. Okay, so I have created a dummy file. I'll show you the data. It doesn't have anything useful, just one column, dummy column with the value dummy. Okay, I'm just pointing to that dummy file, and then I'm adding an additional column here. Okay, this is my additional column data. To this column, whatever value that for each loop brings, right, I'm assigning that. As I mentioned earlier, like how we access the individual attributes item.data and item.unique_id. So in our case, the XML data is going to come in this data property. That's why I'm accessing item.data. It is nothing but the source to be returned to the sink. Okay, I'm just cancelling it and then going to sink now. Sink is nothing but we just have to create a folder matching the unique ID coming from each row and write the source. Okay, and file name. While we create the sink, we should tell what under what file name it should create the data. Okay, write the data to. Okay, so for that, in the folder option, what I'm mentioning is concat output slash with item.unique_id. This unique ID comes from for each loop iteration value, and then I'm appending output before that. I'm prefixing output slash. If I ignore this, what will happen is the folder under the name unique ID will be created in the root container itself. Okay, but I want to create it under demo and output, so that's why I'm prefixing output slash with my unique ID. Okay, this is the folder name. File name I'm just generating randomly using format datetime. Okay, I have a test file and suffixed with this value current year, month, date, hour, minute, second and millisecond. Okay, and in the format of text I'm creating the file. So this is all about source and sink. If you go to the mapping, by default you will see this. If you try to import, it will ask value for data and unique ID that are being referenced in both the data set sink and source. You just give an empty string here that will suffice. So once I give empty string and say, it will populate the schema. I don't want this dummy column, so I will delete it. I will just have the data column that I added as additional column here. So that is all about the mapping. We seem to be good. I'll run this. While it run, I'll tell you a couple of points. Okay, if we use lookup activity, it cannot bring records more than 5,000 in number. Okay, so if your table has 9,000 records, it can only bring first 5,000 records. So what about those 4,000 records? You have to loop one more time to get those 4,000 records. I have a video for achieving the same. Just Google saying how to use lookup activity to get more than 5,000 records. So you will get it. Otherwise, I'll mention the video number in the description as well. So with respect to lookup activity, that is one thing. And second is, by default you will be seeing this selected. Okay, you just have to uncheck it. This is number 2. And then with respect to for each loop, it is looping in parallel. The sequential option is not selected. It is looping in parallel in the sense all the records that are being read by the for each loop activity will be processed at the same time and will be worked upon in parallel. Okay, it's not going to work in sequential order but in parallel. There is a batch count associated with the for each loop activity. You can decide how many parallel runs can happen, okay, at the same time. Maximum number that you can give here is 50. So if you hover over it, you will understand it better. Maximum number of parallel runs of inner activities. Okay, how many threads can parallelly run inside this for each loop, that you are going to tell. So this is one more thing. And we are reading XML data. Why can't we write to XML file? Why are we writing to text file? That is one more question that can come. There is no support for XML creation at this moment in Data Factory. There is no sink available for it. So if your requirement is to create a XML file, then we have to do it using custom activity, okay, or Azure function. So that is one more thing. And one more final thing that I want to note here is, we are generating files, right, in parallel. So there might be a chance of overwriting the same file again and again. For example, if two files are going to be created at the same time, exactly at the same time, in the sense same hour, minute, second, millisecond, if two files are going to be generated at the same time, then you will only see one file at the end of pipeline execution. That's because one file will overwrite the other file because of the same name. Okay, this thing you have to consider and see accordingly how it works for your scenario. So these are all certain points that I wanted to let you know, so that before implementing such scenarios, you will do some groundwork about it. Okay, so that's all with me. I'll just quickly show you the files that are created inside 1000. We are expecting to see two files. 11:18 at the time 11:18 two files were created. If you want to look at the data, I'll just show you. It's nothing but the same XML data that I bring from my SQL table. So under 1000 we have two files which are created 2 minutes ago, and here there is one file which is created 2 minutes ago. So under all other folders we will just see one file being created. Okay, so that's all with me for this session. If you have any questions about this or implementing, or while implementing you get some question, you let me know in the comment section. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep supporting.